They say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But what if anywhere was here, in Endwell, New York? A story of dreams, hard work, challenges, and loss. This is the story of how Jackie Mallory became Jackie Siegel, the Queen of Versailles. Originally from Endwell, Jackie Siegel, who was known back then as Jackie Mallory, always dreamt of a life outside of the 607, like the one she'd see on TV. In the evening, Jackie and her parents would gather around the TV watching lifestyles of the rich and famous, and Jackie would picture what it would be like living the dream. Growing up, Jackie attended Union Endicott High School, experiencing a traditional childhood.
We lived a normal life. My father was an engineer. I was always active. I was in Girl Scouts, loved camping. I was involved with the Boys and Girls Club. I was in the marching band.
In 1984, Jackie Mallory graduated from Union Endicott High School. She then attended RIT and obtained a degree in computer engineering technology.
RIT, oh my God, for me, it was very expensive. And I had to work 3 jobs to pay my way through school. My parents would pay one semester and I would pay the other.
This is when Jackie discovered what more the world had to offer.
I had done some internships and I realized that I worked at the IBM headquarters in Armonk in White Plains. So I would take the train and go down to New York City. And so I realized there was a much bigger world out there. And I also started modeling because RIT has a photography, one of the best photography schools in America. So, and Kodak was up there. So they would use me as a model as well. So between those two, I got free photos. I would model for free for them. And then I got the photos and I kept getting requested. So then I figured, well, now I got this portfolio. What do I do with it?
Wanting to see what else the world had in store, she set her sights on a new chapter in her life. With the influence of a friend, she had decided to go to San Francisco to pursue modeling and her computer career.
So I packed up my car, and she left a day earlier than I did. So she headed out to San Francisco. And literally, I was pulling out of my driveway. I had the radio on, and my car was all filled up with every single belonging that I had, and my dog. And on the radio, it said they had just had the biggest earthquake.
Good evening, I'm Catherine Couric. A strong earthquake rocked the San Francisco Bay Area just moments ago.
6.9 is what we're hearing.
Big enough to bring cities in Northern California to their knees.
I immediately, instead of going west, I took a right turn and I went east.
When she first arrived in New York City, she lived out of her car at first, and she worked at a gym where she would use the employee membership to use the amenities that she otherwise didn't have access to. Outside of work, she took dance classes and singing lessons to work towards pursuing a career on Broadway.
When I was doing modeling and I discovered Broadway, I thought, you know what, maybe I should try Broadway. Expand on the modeling. Modeling was just taking pictures. And I tried out for a couple Broadway shows. And basically, I did not make it. Not even as the background girl.
Jackie set her sights on the next chapter in her life and traded in the Big Apple for the Sunshine State. She and her soon-to-be husband moved to Florida, where they got married. The marriage was short-lived.
The living life in the Everglades was what I dreamed of, and I wanted to get out of my marriage. So I entered the Mrs. Florida pageant, and I won, and that changed my life because I became a producer. My pageant director had died of a heart attack.
She's been directing for about 30 years now. At Westgate Resorts in Las Vegas, Jackie sponsors and hosts the Mrs. America and Mrs. World pageants. She met her late husband, David Siegel, while attending an event for the Mrs. Florida pageant, and their relationship grew. David Siegel is known for building the largest timeshare company. His company is known as Westgate Resorts, which was founded in 1982. This has earned him the title, the Timeshare King. After their honeymoon to France and touring Versailles, which housed King Louis XIV, David told Jackie that he was going to build their very own Versailles.
On the way flying back home, he said, I plan on having a lot of kids, and we're going to need a big house. And he said, what did you think of the French architecture? And I said, oh, it was beautiful. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it before. I didn't even know there was a such thing as French architecture. That was my first time to France.
In 2004, construction began on what would be considered the largest single-family home in the United States. They modeled the home after the Palace of Versailles in France. In the year 2008, the country experienced the Great Recession. Due to financial circumstances, the Siegels had to stop construction temporarily. Construction resumed in 2013, once their financial circumstances had once again improved. The home is still under construction and is expected to be completed in early 2026. Unfortunately, David passed away in April 2025, therefore unable to see the completion of Versailles. In 2022, a mini-series was released documenting the continued construction of the home, titled Queen of Versailles Reigns Again.
It's now time to finish Versailles.
The series also touched base on the passing of Jackie's eldest daughter, Victoria. Victoria passed away in 2015 from a drug overdose. She was 18 years old. One day at Cocoa Beach, Jackie had met playwright and screenwriter Lindsay Ferrantino, who asked Jackie if she would be open to having a musical written about her. After exchanging numbers, Jackie didn't think much about it.
I'm glad we exchanged numbers, because then about almost 9 months or a year later, I get a call back. And her name is Lindsay Ferrantino. And she says, they want to do it. They want to do the show. I said, what show? She says, I'm the girl from Cocoa Beach about the Broadway. And I said, oh my God, are you serious? Because I had gotten so many proposals to do reality shows, and some are real, some are, I just don't know who's in that world. It's hard to know who's serious.
The Queen of Versailles, a musical adaptation of the 2012 documentary, was announced in 2023.
It took about 8 years, and here we are.
Lindsay Ferrantino teamed up with composer Stephen Schwartz. It was announced that the principals of the show would be Kristen Chenoweth, the Tony and Emmy award-winning actress, and Oscar winner F. Murray Abraham as Jackie and David Siegel.
Kristen Chenoweth is one of the nicest women in the world. She's just such a doll, such a sweetheart. I don't think I could have asked for anyone better to portray me.
She recalls what it was like seeing F. Murray Abraham portray her husband after his passing.
So I lost my husband 6 months ago, and I went up to him after the show, and I just gave him a big hug, and I said, thank you so much for bringing my husband back to life, at least on stage.
The announcement of the musical being composed by Schwartz and starring Chenoweth sparked excitement in the theater community, as the two had first worked together on the hit Tony Award-winning musical, Wicked, where Chenoweth originated the role of Glinda in 2003. The show had its pre-Broadway debut in 2024 in Boston at the Colonial Theater. Before the Boston debut, Chenoweth and Schwartz premiered one of the songs from the show, Caviar Dreams.
Here lies Jackie Mallory, minimum wage salary, with a tiny life and great big dreams. She has no clue how to achieve.
Siegel shares how surreal it is that Schwartz composed a song that perfectly describes her childhood.
And they basically put my whole childhood story into one song. So I think it was very creative the way that he did that. And we did watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And I could never imagine living in a house like that.
After the run in Boston, the production set its sights on the bright lights of Broadway, announcing it would be moving to the St. James Theater in 2025, which housed shows such as The Producers, American Idiot, Frozen, and most recently, the Tony Award-winning revival of Sunset Boulevard. Nearly 8 years after the conception of the idea, previews for The Queen of Versailles began on October 8th, 2025. This marked a full circle moment for Jackie, as she once tried to make it on Broadway and was told it would never happen.
But one moral of the story is, so these people told me, you'll never be on Broadway. And now look at my Queen of Versailles names up at the marquee at the St. James Theater. My name in the bright lights everywhere.
The show first introduces theatergoers to Jackie Mallory, the girl from Endwell, who goes on to become Jackie Siegel, the Queen of Versailles. The show is a complex journey of her life and elaborates on her relationship with her daughter Victoria and niece Jonquil.
And even in the Broadway show, they talk about the drug epidemic, because one of the stories in the show shows my daughter who passed away from a drug overdose. And they talk about our foundation, about our legacy. So that is really wonderful that happened, that's part of the story.
The show contrasts the modern world in which it takes place in with the mid-17th century to early 18th century at the Palace of Versailles in France.
Well, I think the show, actually, the way it ends now, it's kind of like, I want to say kind of like a sad kind of ending. But in real life, it's really, I mean, a very positive life. And we have so much going on.
An important lesson that the show presents is that while things may seem perfect on the outside, you never know what reality brings.
This show is very touching for me in many ways.
Jackie is a woman with many layers. She has made great accomplishments in her life, experienced unimaginable loss, and has dedicated her life not just to helping others, but saving others from the pain that she has experienced. After losing their daughter, she and David decided to turn the unimaginable loss into a tribute to her daughter's legacy by establishing Victoria's Voice. They began by advocating for drug prevention and the provision of information on drug and addiction overdose. This led to the Siegels' advocacy for the Comprehensive Addiction Recovery Act, which was signed into law in 2016.
Drug epidemic touches so many lives. I mean, almost everyone knows someone who does drugs or has died of a drug overdose or is at risk.
In informing themselves, they decided they wanted to provide resources for other parents to recognize the signs of drug addiction in their own children, so that these parents might be able to prevent the tragedy the Siegels experienced with their own daughter.
Our legacies are to save lives from the drug overdoses. We have speakers going all across the country. I've got the beauty pageant moms speaking at all of their kids' schools.
The Queen of Versailles doesn't just tell the story of a woman building the largest single-family home in America, but emphasizes that it's not the materialistic things that fill you, but the people in your life that make the dream come true. We all think about what we'd say if we could talk to our younger selves. And for Jackie, it would be,
yeah, just stay driven and focused. And I'm glad I had that in me. It's like, congratulations.